To start off, we had one run of the game which did not go too well, one might say. Our entire group fell apart towards the end, and so we just had to restart. But at the time, no one thought to just respawn and continue playing the game. So we made a new game right afterwards, but I'll still document how the first one played out because, I actually don't know why. I begin my run in a house, who would have thunk? Then I go leave said house to go look for milk. Just like your father figure. Please laugh. Then after leaving said house, I meet Pexadice. More like pedophile. He would soon later betray me. After beating the meat of some undead, we then met up with Zebrical, more like Zeke. His name is Zeke, who was beeping his car horn, making me rather horny. After picking us up, we then drove towards the police station where we got drip. I went nowhere. And this one had a holster, yes sir. As soon as we got to the police station, Greg had magically appeared out of thin air. So that was the whole group. Me, Zeke, Greg, and who's this other guy? I'm the ruler of everything.
Singing and blasting.
Ruler of everything in the air. After getting comfy in the fire station, we eventually ended up in the gas station, which was in the outskirts of town. This was where disaster struck. After some petty infighting, we eventually had an all-out war where it was just me and this other guy who even knows this guy? Who is this guy? So we fought. It was a shotgun versus an axe. So obviously me with the firearm lost. It was then we actually restarted the game and tried to play for real. Noticed how I said tried.
That's an imposter amongst us.
I got the glasses.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
You're a fake.
Alright, I'm gonna start walking towards the station by. So I'm leaving them. No way I'm staying in a house with them. Imagine staying in a house with them. Crazy. There is no way I'm gonna be.
He's black.
After leaving those two by themselves, we then met up in the fire station. Since Greg and I are veteran Rosewood players, we then knew that the police station right across the road would have guns, because we all know that guns cause people to not die. You'd think there'd be at least one shotgun, hell, even two. No. It was only twice of the same gun, and it was a pistol. Since we've never shot a gun in a game, and hopefully in real life, our aiming is basically the equivalent of water in the ocean. So as soon as guns came into play, even though the guns were as useful as salt in the ocean, Dexter decided to do some trolling by attacking Greg. This was when I decided to dip before I die by his hands again. So I escaped into the gas station where I gathered supplies and realized, hey, I should probably go help my bestie Gregory. I drove back to the station where my beautiful, long, thick, white car was hit by Dexter and Zeke as they were hunting Greg, a bunch of sickos. They eventually begin driving after me as soon as I start driving away. The thing is, I'm a top tier race car driver, and Dexter can't drive even if his life depended on it. After hiding my car like a genius cause he's brain dead, when in safety, I heard Dexter and Zeke pass by.
Let me drive. It's fine.
When they're fully passed, I then hit up Greg. We then met up in the nearby school to hopefully find actual useful guns. Turns out there was no quiet kid in this school. We then planned to live outside of Rosewood, far away from the dangers inside of Rosewood, by living right on top of Rosewood. We then drove to the house and it was perfect. The house was bigger than your mother and the shed was full to the brim with useful stuff to build the house with. It was a blessing from God. After settling into the house, we then decided to put our trust into Zeke. Oh, how we would regret that decision. After a run through Rosewood to get a new car that failed, I saw him right on front of our lawn. Zeke had messed up and betrayed Greg and I, leaking our base to him. It obviously didn't take long till hell broke loose. A fight broke out, with the main cause of this being Dexter the pedophile. This fight didn't take long cause I had him right on front of my crosshairs, and the second I tripped, oh. God damn it! I was gonna get that rat! That little was gonna get what was coming to him. I was gonna end up right after the pain he caused. Why? Why, Zeke? Why did you have to trust that madman? You gullible fuck! After the crash, we just stopped playing the game and went to do human stuff like beating your meat. After a minute or so, we eased up again, and while waiting for the others, Greg and I watched some intellectual YouTube videos.
Have you seen the new clip, Marius?
Hold on. Let me just show you this.
What? Oh, no.
Yeah. Sells seashells on the seashore, but the value of these shells will. When in the game, I found out that Dexter had died in the car and is now under it. How the fuck? After moving the ton of metal off the corpse, I then burnt it. Why? Cause I burnt it. You stupid idiot. After everyone is back, we then decided to go to Mulder's VHS store to get knowledge. We left with 2 cars and one only got there. It was me and the Hexadice, the Dexter. We got to the VHS store and Dexter and I completely ransacked the place for all it had. That's when the other 2 showed up with 2 different cars, meaning one of them crashed the other car. Why? We then drove to the warehouse, which I had no recollection of ever stepping into. This time it went without a hitch. We got some good building materials and one person crashing another car, so everything was perfect. We then drove back home with some very intellectual dialogue to each other. El Bozo, this guy over here. When we got back home, we all watched the useful VHSs and it was generally peaceful. Huh, that's a first. It's a pretty good feeling. The feeling did not last. After watching the VHS, I went straight to the Mulder's police station and to get the armory. On my way back home, I ran straight into Greg and Zeke and only them. I think Dexter just stopped existing. I guess he just vanished out of existence. When going back home, we ran straight into a roadblock where a group of zombies got the jump on us and tore
Help me!
Oh my god! Which he somehow survived. What? As soon as we got back home, aka Rosewood, I went straight into town and leveled up to Carpentry 6 to make yummy drink water from rain. As soon as I got back home, I sought to strengthen our home. You know, that doesn't sound right. Fortress. No, city. We are not the dead. We run, not walk. We have seen society crumble and we are here to rebuild it. I'm gonna start blocking up some stuff. But Zeke, he did some trolling. He set a fire inside our home. As soon as the fire spread, and when I realized it, it was too late. I exited the home, but Greg stayed. Minutes before the flames, Greg went AFK. He was stolen by the fire. Greg's body stepped out, but it wasn't him anymore. Zeke attempted to save our items and failed.
Oh my god, I'm on fire. Oh no, I'm dead.
As he became one with the ashes. All the effort I had put into building that home went to waste. A decaying corpse sat in front of me. I sought nothing to do anymore. I lost all my hope to the ash.
A few moments later. later.
What the hell happened?
Everything is gone, burned to a crisp by a madman. Everyone died, other than I. Here comes the madman who burnt down this entire house.
What the hell?
Here is the madman that burnt down our
There's
house.
Is
You
he
lying
actually
liar.
It's however good.
Yeah.
Zeke, why did you burn down this house? Zeke, you know how much time we spent here.
Okay, I have.
Zeke, what did you use to burn down this lovely house?
Much later.
Picking up the remains of our old home, we moved down through Rosewood to our new compound. We cleared it out. We closed it off. We built on it. We put all our differences aside to work together for once. We were a group, a team. We were besties. Oh, so naive of me to think of that. I left the new compound to pick up some nails in our old home, while Greg and Zeke went on a mission of their own. When I got back, Greg had told me of the horrors that happened to Zeke. We believed he had died. At the house, why? You crashed the car?
Zeke to die.
You crashed the car, didn't you?
No, he fucking crashed it. He made it jump.
What?
He made my car fly and then it landed on his car and got stuck.
He has a way of
My
vehicles. As we helped build into our new home, it was too late. We heard them. They're groaning. Zeke decided to be the imposter again and brought a whole horde into our new house, our base. But I was done. So I pulled out a shotgun and stepped into hell.
Come here! Come in, brother.
What happened?
That's one hit.
That's hilarious. After the dead were dealt, I had to take care of the imposter. I made a mistake. I killed someone who surrendered. I was no better than the dead that walked this new world. Even Greg was conflicted against this. He didn't say truce! It didn't have to be this way.
His thumbs up, bro.
He didn't say truce though!
He put his thumb up.
I didn't realize. Zeke came back and took our defense straight out of the gate, but in a form of lost brain cells or due to the apocalypse, Zeke went back, took off his clothes, seeming like a sign of peace. This time, there was no bloodshed. It's been 5 hours of gameplay and we just wanted to close up by now, discussing this and wanting to close it up with something scripted, but Greg decided otherwise. He decided to be the imposter, and without my knowledge until it was too late, he ran the car straight on top of Zeke. But he was still alive. Zeke was stuck under the car as Greg mocked him like a sicko. Someone who had lost their mind, diluted to the apocalypse. I've truly lost my bestie. I've lost all my friends to the apocalypse. So, I've lost myself. I walked over to my former bestie, cocked the shotgun, aimed, and after his body was claimed by the earth, I let Zeke go from his prison. I thought he'd thank me for freeing him from Greg, but nothing really. He just stood up and with no hesitation, he walked over to the corpse of his former friend and robbed it. Or well, he tried to. That's when I realized anybody who had survived the fall of society are all sus imposters.
I nutted before I died. That's a perfect ending.